Hi, welcome to English 114 online this week. This week we're going to be working on page design and instructions. And so for this week I would like for you to view my video, which you're doing right now. Look at the PowerPoint on Chapter 7, which hits the main highlights of Chapter 7, and look at the PowerPoint on Chapter 12, which hits the major highlights for Chapter 12. Our assignment this week is going to be focused on designing a set of instructions that has really good page design so that we can have something successful that somebody can read and follow. Just to get you sort of acquainted with following written instructions and why they're so important, I'll ask if you would just pause the video for a second and get a piece of paper. I just got a regular piece of printer paper here. It doesn't matter what kind of paper you have, but if you'll just get that piece of paper, humor me, and then I'm going to give you some instructions and see if you can follow it so that you can make a design on your paper that looks like my design. Okay, so when you get your piece of paper, fold it in half. Okay, fold it in half. Then I want you to take the top right-hand corner of your paper and tear it off. Then, after you've done that, fold your paper in half again. And this time, tear off the bottom left-hand corner of your paper. After you've done that, fold it in half again, and now tear off the bottom right-hand corner of your paper. And then, after you do that, if you'll open your paper up, all the way open full again, and look at your paper and see if it looks like my paper. Okay, that's what my paper looks like. Okay, chances are your paper looks different from my paper. And the reason for that is you didn't actually look at what I was doing because I held it down low so you couldn't see what I was doing. And you didn't have the opportunity to ask me questions like, when you say fold it in half, do you mean fold it in half this way? Or do you mean fold it in half this way, the hot dog way versus the hamburger way? And also, depending on how you handled the paper, what was my upper right might have been your lower left. It was just handled in different ways. This is a great illustration to show you that when you are giving somebody instructions and all they're doing is being able to read the instructions, they can't actually ask you any questions, then it might be confusing and you might not get the same results that you're hoping that they'll get, because you can't ask questions and because it's just one-way communication. And that's why it's so very important that your instructions, that your written instructions, which are also one-way communication, are as simple and easy to follow and specific as possible. Okay, so you'll find out elements of page design that are very important in Chapter 7. Particularly page 211 to 224 gives you some really good tips about using white space and making things more visible and more noteworthy. What works well for page design and what doesn't work as well. Also, a tables chart on page 227 gives you some good idea about how to introduce a graphic into a page. And also the writer's checklist on page 251 is good. From Chapter 12, the writer's checklist for the instructions on page 409, the section about warnings and information that you want to give your instruction readers to prevent screw-ups, is 409 to 411. And then the summary of the chapter on page 419 is also very good. And you'll also want to read the assignment documents. or one document actually that I've provided for you. I've also given you a sample of instructions that I wrote. I actually did it for an assignment for a class that I was taking at East Carolina. So I made those available to you so you can see how I inserted the instructions, the graphics for my instructions into my document, and that might be helpful to you also. Also how I use the headings for that document. Okay, your graded assignment this week is just one then. You're going to incorporate your information that you've learned about page design and what from Chapter 7 and what you've learned about creating written instructions from Chapter 12, and you're going to create a set of written instructions. That includes at least one graphic and adds value to the instructions. You can, again, look at my sample. You can look at the samples in the book. And when you finished your set of instructions and you have it the way you want it to be, then you'll submit it on the Turnitin link on the middle page, and that's where I will grade it from, the Turnitin link. All right, so your assignment actually is the written instructions with page design and graphics document that you'll need to view in order to get your assignment is to, in Chapter 7, turn to page 419 and 420 and choose either number 1 to do for your set of instructions, or you may choose number 7 from your textbook to do for your set of written instructions. Now, if you choose number 7, I included a live link in the assignment document that you can go to see a labeled image of a grocery kiosk. I got that image of the grocery kiosk from MIT.edu, and that is also mentioned in the assignment document. So if you want to use that as your graphic that adds value to your instructions about the grocery kiosk, you're welcome to use that, but just make sure that you give credit to MIT.edu for the use of that graphic, because that's where I got it from. If you wanted to, you could actually go to a grocery store and take pictures of each step of the process and include those pictures in your instructions. And if you choose the other assignment to do the number 1 assignment, then of course you'll still need to include a graphic. Screenshots are good for that, and you can see in my sample instructions my use of screenshots to explain my instructions that I had to do for my assignment for an ECU class way back when. So your resources this week, Chapter 7 and Chapter 12. And again, I have specifically mentioned the pages that you need to emphasize in reviewing those chapters. Okay, once you have prepared your instructions, you want to make sure that you follow the rubric details on the assignment sheet to make sure you get the very best grade that you possibly can. One is going to be to include an introductory statement where you have your introductory summary, where you explain the purpose of these instructions and a summary of the steps that will follow, particularly if you break them into separate parts. Also, a section labeled or with a heading of instructions for whatever it is that you're going to be doing. Like, for instance, you might have a heading that says instructions for checking yourself out at the grocery store. And then you'll have, under that heading, you'll have your specific numbered instructions. You want to make sure they're in the right order. You want to make sure they all start with a command form of the verb. And you want to make sure that they are easy to follow. The number 1 test of good instructions is, can somebody read the instructions and do what it asks you to do? Now, if you have any questions about the assignment this week, as always, ask me. You can call me, you can email me, you can, I have added another additional way that you can ask for information and for help, and that is through a virtual office hour, which will be on Wednesdays from 9:30 to 10:30. I'll be here in my office, and you can access that. I sent an email out letting everybody know about that. And not only, I know that that might not be your preferred time, 9:30 to 10:30 on a Wednesday morning, maybe you're at your work at that time. So you can also request a virtual meeting with me and at a different time, and just email me, ask me, and I will try to get the I'll check my calendar, see if that time's available, if it suits both of us, and I will meet with you virtually as well. You can always come by my office to lots of ways to contact me, and I want you to contact me if you have any questions or any problems. Okay, so contact me if you need any help. Have a great week. Have fun working on your instructions, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help.